Ripple Swell is an event that happens every single year, and it brings together some of the largest financial institutions and partnerships that the crypto industry has ever seen. We do have a full calendar breakdown of all of the meetings and discussions that are going to take place, and we're going to go ahead and speculate on what we think is going to happen here. We also have some stuff from Jack McDonald, Reese, and some other people on the Ripple team getting prepared for Swell. So there's a kickoff video here that I want to play, and then let's go ahead and get into the calendar and everything else that's going to happen. There's also some additional XRP information after we get past this. All right.
Cultural and business connector between North and South America.
There is no longer this dichotomy between digital assets, crypto, traditional finance. There is a very real convergence.
The role that Ripple is playing in the industry is to really help bridge traditional finance and decentralized finance. The two financial systems need each other.
Welcome back, everybody.
How awesome is it that we are actually witnessing the creation of a new asset class?
What we're starting to see is a lot of people are starting to move into stablecoins so they can be trade ready to move into any other asset.
Our vision is looking forward to tokenization of real world assets, financial and non-financial assets.
Institutions see simply, this is math. This is not just an alternative asset class. It's math that works. I'm a firm believer that you can protect consumers and markets and foster responsible innovation, grow a thriving market at the same time.
We want this to be an event where people come together, not just to work with Ripple, but to work with each other. In 20 or 30 years, when we look back, crypto is going to have a much bigger impact.
Man, it's really incredible being able to connect all of these financial institutions together. Even if they don't work with Ripple directly right now, it does set the stage for innovation and growth in the industry. And I think that is super important here. Bringing the institutions in, bringing the regulators and the Congress people and the senators, all of these people need to be on the same page so innovation can move forward and can grow here in America. And I think we are starting to see a lot of that start to play out. So Ripple Swell is going to run from November 4th to the 5th in New York City. It features the most significant lineup and agenda in the event's history. So it's bigger than it ever has been, and with traditional finance and crypto institutions involved. So how's this going to kick off? We are going to have a November 3rd evening welcome reception. So, if anyone wants to show up early and start networking and pre-event meetups, that's going to be really cool. And then the day one kickoff, right? We have the opening remarks from Monica Long. I will bring you those opening remarks on this channel same day. Be prepared for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go ahead and get into it, see if there's anything there that maybe she's sharing. I'm looking for any gems here, right? Anything at all, baby. All right, and then we have 9:45 to 10:05 keynote fireside chat. Adina Friedman, CEO of NASDAQ. That's going to be really interesting to see what her take is. She did say a few months, what was this, maybe like 3 weeks ago to a month ago, that she sees the future of the stock market being traded on blockchain. And I do think that is where this is all headed. We've been speaking about this for years, and it's interesting to see the CEO of NASDAQ say what we've been thinking for so long. I think it really does say that we've been on the right track, understanding all of this evolution of blockchain technology. And it does make me feel pretty good that we've been right on about this for a long time. And then 10:10 to 11 o'clock, tokenization and capital markets. You have Maxwell Stein here from BlackRock and Rory Callaghy. Sorry about that, Rory, from Moody's. And then the next panel here is going to be on stablecoins and blockchain. You have Miles Harrison from Amina Bank, Ripple partner, and then Schumann Financial. Schumann Financial is the financial institution in Europe that launched a digital euro on the XRP ledger. So it's going to be great to hear from them about stablecoins and the growth that they are seeing. We have a panel here on popularizing digital assets across crypto ETFs on chain. So we're going to have somebody from Bitwise here. We're going to have Stephen McClurg from Canary Capital. Stephen McClurg is definitely somebody who's been very open about his thoughts on spot XRP ETFs. He said that he believes we could see like $5 billion or more come into spot XRP products in the first month. If Stephen's right, that could be really game changing for our holdings. We'll see how all of this plays out, ladies and gentlemen. So 1 to 1:45 here, product keynote, Ripple's roadmap and stablecoin utility demo. And then the next panel will be on secure foundations for digital asset economy, and then international regulatory perspectives. And so you have some people here from the European Parliament, which is really great to see being invited here. You have somebody from Argentina, and then you have Matthew Osborne from Ripple. And then unlocking the future of prime brokerage and clearing, BNY, Hidden Road, and XTC markets. That's going to be a juicy one. I'm looking forward to watching that. You have 5 to 6 bank panel, tokenization, and custody. Ryan Rugg from Citi, Low Bassett, Fidelity, Sandy Call, and Franklin Templeton. This is going to be a good one too, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a lot of really good clips, guys. Make sure that you are subscribed. You got that bell notification turned on, because when I put this out, you're going to want to hear it. And then day 2, look at this. Headline speakers. We got Brad, we got Monica, we got Chris Larson, Adina Friedman, Maxwell Stein, Cynthia Lowe, Bassett, Sandy Call, Hunter Horsley, Jose Andres, Jose, executives from Citibank, CNY, BNY, CME, Moody's, DBS, State Street, Societe Generale, and more. And here are some of the other topics. This is going to be exciting. Jack McDonald's did say important use cases continue show what stablecoins can really do. This year, Ripple has developed $50 million in plus in RLUSD for social good across XRP and ETH, and we're continuing to explore collaborations that harness the power of XRP. Excited to be building new partnerships that put purpose into payments. And so he was highlighting here ahead of Ripple Swell, we're showcasing how blockchain payments can drive real-world impact. And, you know, I gotta say, it's one thing to build the next evolution of technology. It's another thing altogether to be doing that and remain focused on what's important, giving back and building new structures so people that are in desperate need of capital, food, whatever it is, can get to that place very quickly. Usually when a disaster strikes, it could take days to get money into whatever region or whatever place it needs to get into. Using blockchain, we can speed that up to seconds, and that could mean life or death for some people that are in absolutely desperate need. So I'd love to see Ripple doing everything they can here. Ripple, a financial technology company that offers crypto solutions for businesses, today announced that several of the world's leading development and humanitarian nonprofit organizations, including World Central Kitchen, Water.org, Give Directly, and Mercy Corps, are leveraging Ripple's payments and Ripple USD stablecoin to help improve the speed, transparency, and impact of aid, delivery, and funding. I mean, this is heartfelt. This is something that is going to do a lot of good in the world. And I'm glad that every day I can get up here, talk to you about the cryptocurrency I love the best, which is XRP. And of course, Ripple. You know, I haven't seen anything like Ripple, the company, the people that work there. And I think they're doing a whole lot of good here. And this is just really, really exciting to see that. All right, Reese Merrick did say, I'm looking forward to moderating this panel next week at Ripple Swell. Sandy Call, this is, you know, I played a few clips from her recently from Franklin Templeton. She was talking about tokenization and how quickly that's going to roll out and play out. She says that, you know, really doesn't make sense to have some of this value on chain and some of it on the old system. She believes that you're going to have this moment where a lot of the value, where stocks, bonds, derivatives will move on chain in a rapid pace. I'll put together another video on tokenization. I'll include some Larry Fink and some Sandy Call and really kind of spell it out for everybody. All right, we did see Carlos Domingo here. We're shifting gears. The CEO of Securitize, which industries they can benefit the most from tokenization.
You're more accessible, you know, obviously pending the regulatory, you know, framework. It makes it easier to consume for retail people, like, you know, large investors. They have armies of people that they can deal with inefficiencies in markets that retail people don't have. So I think it's a great equalizer for accessing financial services products.
So if this is about the rails and about changing the rails, getting things that are not tokenized, so then they're more easily accessible, things are faster, things settle more quickly, who ends up losing out here?
That's a very good question. I think the incumbents, right? The intermediaries that sit in between those transactions.
Who are they?
Incumbents are the large banks, JP Morgan's, HSBC's, Citibanks of the world. Those are incumbent banks, okay?
You know, clearinghouses, central securities depositories, transfer agents we need to modernize. So transfer agents think they'll still be there, but in a modern version of them, you know, distributors like wealth management.
Give us some names.
You want me to be provocative?
Well, I just want you to, if you're thinking about a future like this, like where do people not want to be?
I think one of the things that probably disappears is the clearinghouses, right? Because the blockchain settles the trades, and the blockchain is the settlement layer, and therefore you don't need an intermediary to settle trades.
Are we just going to hear the clearinghouses at some point say that they're going to tokenize whatever's in their inventory as well?
Well, they are already saying, but that actually doesn't change anything, right? Because, you know, tokenization is about changing the market structure to eliminate intermediaries. So if the existing intermediaries are just stay there as intermediaries, but tokenizing something, it doesn't really creating improvements to the market structure.
Do most people not even notice it? Let's say we get to that.
I feel like he's answering the questions. He's like, these are some weird questions, guys. Come on.
World where everything is tokenized. Will the end user not even notice this world?
That's a very good question. So I think that tokenization or tokenized finance eventually will become finance, the same thing that internet companies are just companies today, right? So I think blockchains at some point, when they are integrated on the endpoints of consumers, will just disappear behind the scenes as another infrastructure there, the same way that internet, back in the days, you might remember you had to like dial up and have a modem and all that stuff. And today everything is connected to the internet and it's transparent, right? So I do think blockchains will eventually become completely transparent.
All right. Let me just show you this because I thought this was a good kind of segue to talk about how tokenization is going to transform and what are the industries that'll be transformed the quickest and the biggest. And so the number one here, is real estate. Real estate is widely considered the leading candidate for early and transformative tokenization, with use cases from fractional ownership of properties to 24/7 trading with lower entry barriers for retail investors. This democratizes investment opportunities and increases liquidity in markets that have been traditionally illiquid and exclusive. So it talks about financial services, financial instruments such as bonds, stocks, mutual funds, loans, private equity are already seeing substantial movement towards tokenization. Tokenized financial assets can reduce operational friction, enabling instant settlement and open to drive up markets to the broader investor base through fractionalization. And so right now, if you live in a country and maybe you don't have enough money to buy 5 shares or 10 shares or even 1 share of, let's say, Apple stock or Tesla, whatever your favorite company is, you can start buying 1/10 of it or 1/4 or half a share. That's really going to open up early stage investing to US markets globally. And I think other areas like around the world, like the Euro and the UK and Japan, are looking to do the same to bring investors into their markets as well. So this really does kind of supercharge being able to access markets on a larger scale, 24/7, 365. It does talk a little bit here about momentum. We don't really need to get into that. Supply chains and commodities. Tokenization is transforming supply chain management and commodities trading by increasing transparency, preventing counterfeiting, and streamlining logistics. Commodities like gold, oil, and agricultural products are being digitized for easier and safer trading in smaller units, benefiting both institutional and retail investors. And then, of course, art, collectibles, and media. The art and entertainment industries are experiencing a shift towards fractional ownership. So let's say there's a $20 million piece of art. And of course, we don't have $20 million. Well, at least not yet, right? What if you wanted to own maybe a 1/4% of that or 1/10%? Maybe you had a few $100,000 and you wanted to just own a piece of art. That's a good way to do that. And I think you will see more and more of these use cases, obviously starting from the top down here, what's most important. And then you also got healthcare, IP management, research, funding, and transparency, which is also something to look forward to. All right, so shifting gears to companies planning to hold XRP in their treasury. Evernorth, Tridentity, haven't seen too much from these guys at 500 million though. Weebis 300 million, Vivo Power 121, Wellgistics 50, Reliance Global 17. You have Hyperscale Data, you have Gumi here for 5 million. What I want to say here, guys, is I believe you're going to see more and more companies starting to build out their treasury strategies for crypto assets. I do think the launch of Evernorth here will put even more pressure on other institutions to step up and start buying, right? And this is really what we want to see. If we have 100 different companies investing $1 billion, that's $100 billion going into XRP. I think this could really start to scale quickly. We already have a limited supply of XRP available on exchanges. What happens if banks start buying realistically, and as well if more companies start buying? I think you kind of can see how this could play out. When there's a limited supply of something and you have all of these people and companies interested in buying what's ever left of that, you could get a surge in price. And I think that's what some of us are hoping and waiting for. I did want to touch base here on Korean exchanges. XRP trades roughly at 2 to 3x Bitcoin's volume. So in Korea, XRP is the most traded cryptocurrency on most days. Sometimes, Bitcoin can have its day and maybe Ethereum can have its day, but XRP shows up every single day in Korea. You got to love that. Big shout out to everybody in Korea.
Just got back from Korea with the Stronghold team, and I can't stop thinking about this stat. XRP trading volume in Korea is often double Bitcoin's volume, sometimes triple. I knew this before we went, but seeing it on the ground, watching it happen in real time on exchange screens, talking to traders who treat XRP like their primary position, that feels different. On Upbit and BitHum, their 2 biggest exchanges, XRP often accounts for over 20% of all trading. Western markets still treat Bitcoin as the default. Korea skipped right past that. This is exactly why we built SHX on Stellar. Same philosophy, fast, global, compliant. The boring stuff that actually makes money move. When a country picks XRP over Bitcoin by these margins, they're telling you something about where finance is headed.
All right. And, guys, let's just wrap up there. I hope you have a very blessed weekend. We're getting into it all. I'm going to have a full breakdown of all of this information next week as we go into Ripple Swell. Make sure that you're subscribed, following the channel. I really appreciate your time, and just have a good one. Aloha.